Good morning, Kevin DeBrito with Finch Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick GMC, and this morning we're going to take a look at this 2019 Buick Enclave. Just going to do a quick rundown of some of the features and how they operate, and hopefully this allows you to become a little more familiar with your new car. Starting with the doors, you'll notice on the doors we got these little silver buttons. They're on the front doors, the back doors. This is your lock and unlock button, as long as you have a key inside 1 meter. So we can lock the car. Now we're all good. If we unlock it, 1 click will undo the driver door. 2 clicks will undo all the doors, unless you have it programmed differently in your driver information center. Along the side of the door, and before I get to the door, you'll notice that little symbol right there on the mirror. That is your lane change alert. It will light up when you have somebody in your blind spot, or if you have a fast vehicle quickly approaching your blind spot, it will light up solid all of the time on both the driver side and passenger side. If you have your turn signal on and someone is in your blind spot, it'll go from a solid light to a flashing light, just to get that next level of attention for you. On the door, we have our power door locks, memory seats, mirrors, including power folding mirrors, and your power windows. Going back quickly to the memory seats. To program your memory seat, we have driver number 1, driver number 2, and easy exit. The easy exit seat is going to be the same for both drivers. You can program that position for the position you want the car to go in when you exit the vehicle, simply by hitting the set and the button at the same time, and you'll hear 3 beeps. Beep, beep, beep. When you hear that, it's programmed. And that'll be the same for driver number 1 and driver number 2. Push and hold until you hear beep, beep, beep with the car running. Down at the bottom here, we have our power tailgate. There is a max, a 3/4, and an off position. The 3/4 position is a little bit misleading, because it's actually a programmable position. On the back of the vehicle, where you have the button to close the tailgate, if you push and hold that button in a particular position, that will program your power tailgate 3/4 position. So it might be open a quarter, halfway, or almost all the way. Once you have it programmed, that becomes the default 3/4 position. Power seats, pretty standard. We got up and down, forwards and backwards. You can also tilt it if you want to adjust the angle of the bottom of the seat. You have your recline and your lumbar adjust. While I'm down here, hood release, pretty straightforward. Parking brake is all electronic. Push to set, push to release. This is your dash light, so the intensity of the dash lights, both on your driver information center as well as your radio at nighttime, will be controlled by this dial. And of course, as with all GM's automatic headlights, your lights will automatically turn on and turn off. If you need to turn your lights on manually, you can twist it over. Also, if you've got the vehicle running, and let's say you're at the drive-in or you're waiting and you don't want the exterior lights on while the vehicle is running, just twist it over to the off position. That'll keep your lights off until you put the vehicle in drive. Let's hop inside and get into a little bit more detail. So I just hit the start button. That is your push button start. As long as your foot is on the brake and you have a key in the vehicle, you'll have your push button start. Let's take a look at our driver information and steering wheel. So a couple of things on this side. We have our cruise control, our on-off button for our cruise control, and over here is our cancel button for our cruise control. So you'll notice on the dash, and I apologize for the light, you can see that one light kind of turning on and off. That is your cruise light. That will let you know that the cruise is active, and you can then set or resume your cruise, which will be right here. Phone buttons, you've got talk and hang up. And then part of your safety features is your forward collision alert. You'll notice that you can change the gap of the forward collision alert from low, medium to small. I'll leave that on the high position right now. When the forward collision alert activates, you might have noticed before, there's a little hole here. There's a series of red LED lights that will flash if you're getting too close to the vehicle in front of you. Also, we have the safety alert seat. so your seat will vibrate when you get that alert. Below the safety alert seat or forward collision alert is your heated steering wheel. Probably don't need it today, but you'll definitely appreciate that in the winter time. Behind, you'll notice a couple of little paddle shifters. Those are so you can manually shift through the transmission when you're driving in the low gear. Not something you'll likely use, but I did want to make sure you knew it was aware. Also, this button here is for your automatic high beams. This vehicle has automatic lights and automatic high beams. So once your nighttime lights kick on, you can push this button. You'll see a corresponding logo show up in your driver information center, and that means your high beams are active. If you approach another vehicle or another vehicle is approaching you, it will turn off your high beams and go to your regular lights. Great feature. I have it in my Terrain Denali and works fantastic. On the other turn stock, we have our windshield wipers. Pretty straightforward. Down once to pass once, and then we have intermittent, low, and high. Probably very similar to other vehicles that you've been driving. Down in the center console, I know you've got this figured out because you drove the vehicle and probably had to put it in reverse once. So reverse is probably the trickiest one. Anytime you're moving into reverse or drive, you're gonna have to use the shift button right here. To go into reverse, we're gonna go up and over, and now we're in reverse. I felt my seat vibrate because I'm parked close to a wall, and you'll notice in my driver information center, I've got those red lines that show how close to the wall I actually am. You have those sensors both in the front and the rear of the vehicle. Moving the vehicle back into drive, hit the shift button, pull it back into drive, and the park button is right on top. If for some reason you turned off the vehicle and you did not put it into park, it will go into park automatically. Climate control systems, just above that, we have our heated and ventilated seats, 3 positions for both. Really comfortable features to have. We've got driver over here and passenger over here. You'll also notice that we have dual zone climate control, so you can both have different temperatures inside the vehicle. One of the features about the automatic climate control a lot of people don't use is the automatic feature. You may have heard the fan just kick up right now because I hit the automatic feature. That's getting the car, my side, down to 19 degrees and the passenger side down to 20 degrees. As we move those temperatures up closer to where the car actually is, you know, the fan speed will drop. So really great feature. I use automatic climate control in my vehicle all the time, and I love it. Above, we have our radio and driver information center. I apologize for a little bit of the glare as the sun is just coming up. Home button. This gets us to our radio display, and everything you need is going to be here. Audio, so AM, FM, satellite radio. Program your phone. Projection, which is a feature I think we talked a little bit about. You can connect an Android phone or an Apple phone with a data package to the vehicle simply by plugging it into one of the USB ports here. And you'll be able to access Google Maps, Waze, or in the case of an iPhone, your Apple Maps. All through your radio without ever touching your phone. Really, really fantastic feature. Apple phones are great. They're just plug and play. You don't need to download any software. Google phones, you will need to download from your Play Store an app called Android Auto. If you need more information on that, by all means let me know and I'll do my best to walk you through it. As we move over to navigation, that's a feature that a lot of people like. Onboard navigation. Destination and addresses are very easy to put in. You'll notice right across the top we have this one-line address. Now you can use the voice recognition or you can use typing it. I prefer typing it just because voice recognition isn't always the greatest unless it's connected to the internet. So let's say we wanted to go to 123 Main Street. What the car is doing right now is it's searching for the 120 main streets that are nearby. Hopefully we get something to pop up very shortly. There we go. You'll notice there's a couple of Michigan highways that show up, but then we have all of our main streets. 17 kilometers away, 24 kilometers away. What I like about this, and you folks are in a smaller town, London's the same way. You're entering an address, you're trying to figure out, is it London, or is it Lambeth, is it Lucan, or in St. Thomas, is it Elkin County or Elmer or St. Thomas? So it's giving us those exact details here, so we know that, well, we wanted it in Belmont, but it didn't show up. This is obviously the Belmont one here. And then, of course, Lucan, same thing. It's got 2 different cities listed. Sometimes with a GPS system, you're looking for a city, and the city's not there because it's listed as being in a neighboring city. So hopefully that's helpful. What I also find is if that doesn't work, you can go to your address and you can enter in Ontario, city, street, and the house number, and that can give you more information if it wasn't available from that quick search. You can also search by points of interest if you're looking for a gas station, restaurant, hotel, those types of things, and you can download some contacts into the system so that you've got them there all the time. I'm going to go back to the home screen. Climate control, we talked about climate control down here. You can also operate your climate control from the touch screen. So you have a preference, very straightforward. Temperature, you've got your rear climate if you want to access your rear climate. We can sync both the temperatures to the exact same temperature. And you'll notice down at the bottom here it says ionizer is on. An ionizer cleans the air of the vehicle electronically. Great feature. I know a lot of homes that have similar features in them. If you're looking for clean air in your vehicle, you're definitely going to love the ionizer. Back to the home screen. Text messages, you can access some of your text messages depending on your phone software, although using Android Auto and Apple CarPlay is a much better way of doing it. Onto the second screen, there's our rear climate control, traffic information if you subscribe to XM Nav Traffic. Then we have the My Buick app, which you can use to book service appointments, and there are other apps like Weather and Glimpse, which are downloadable onto the vehicle. Not something that gets used very often, but cool feature, and we hope to see some more apps coming. Settings is one of the ones I skipped over on purpose, just so we can go through here and take a look. This is where you're going to set your time and date. The vehicle has a feature called Rear Seat Reminder. That means if the back door is open within 10 minutes of operating the vehicle, you'll get a little chime, check back seat, when you turn off the vehicle and you go to leave it. So you can turn that feature on and off. We can, of course, change the languages, but I'm going to assume you prefer English. Valet Mode is a way of locking down the radio. Our phones are connected via Bluetooth. We have our navigation directions that are stored in the phones. By locking the vehicle or locking the radio, they won't have access to any of your previous destinations or your contacts if somebody is driving your vehicle with your Bluetooth phone in it or nearby. Also, the radio does not work at all, so if somebody else was driving your vehicle and you didn't want them listening to the radio, you could enter it into Valet Mode. Teen Driver, not something that you guys will likely need, but you can program a key for Teen Driver, and that will give you like a little report card. I can go in here quickly and show you. I'll just use my standard password. There we go. So that's easily resettable. We've now set the PIN, and we can actually go through and view a report card. So these are the things that Teen Driver is tracking based on the key that's programmed as a Teen Driver key. So basically what the maximum speed was, if there was any wide open throttles, over speed warnings, and if any of the safety features kicked in. Also with Teen Driver, the radio doesn't work unless your seatbelts are connected. So a great feature to remind you to ensure that you've got your seatbelts on when Teen Driver is active. We'll head out of Teen Driver. Radio, whoops. Radio, you can manage your favorites, show how many radio stations you want to show on the vehicle. There's currently audio feedback, a little click every time you hit the screen. If you don't like that, it can be turned off. And then auto volume. Auto volume is going to change the sound or the volume of the radio as you go faster to help compensate for road and wind noise. I find low is nice because it's really not noticeable when it happens, which is what the system is designed for. Maximum startup volume, just in case you had the music blaring at 3 o'clock in the morning when you got home. When you wake up at 6 and it's time to go to work, you don't want it to be that loud. So you can turn down your maximum startup volume, and it doesn't matter how loud the radio was when you were last in the vehicle, it will not go any louder than this volume. Vehicle is probably where you will spend a little bit of time programming your Enclave so that you can be really comfortable with the features and have it work the way you want it to. Climate and air quality, auto fan speed controls the range that the fan blows when we're in the automatic setting. So if you prefer to have a lot of air blowing all the time, we can use the high setting and the airspeed will kick up. If you prefer not to have a whole lot of air blowing, we can leave it on the low setting. You may have been able to hear that small change as it went from low to high. I'll put it back on medium for now. When it is hot outside and you're using your remote start feature, your cooled seats will turn on automatically unless you change that setting. And of course, when it's cold outside, your heated seats will turn on automatically. Same thing with your front defog and rear defog. And there is an ionizer setting, so it is on now. If you wanted to have it turned off, very easy to do within this menu. Air quality, collision detection systems. So Alerttype, currently we've got the safety alert seat on. If you don't like the safety alert seat, it can be turned off and it will refer back to beeps. With our forward collision system, this is that one that's going to warn you if a car in front of you rapidly slows down and you don't. It's currently set to alert and brake. If you don't want the braking to happen, you can change that just to alert. From my own experiences, I have had forward collision alert activate. I have not yet had the alert and brake activate. Reading the owner's manual, it will state that the alert and brake will minimize the severity of the impact. So although it could stop a collision, it will definitely minimize the impact if you were in a collision. So I prefer to keep that on. From Pedestrian Alert, this vehicle is actually going to scan in front of you for any pedestrians it thinks may cross your path. If it does, it will alert you, and in this case, it will alert and brake. That system works under 60 kilometers per hour. Rear cross traffic, something that we don't talk about a lot, but backing out of a parking space, maybe there's a car, maybe there's a pedestrian, maybe there's somebody walking that will eventually walk into your path. This will notify you when you have the reverse camera on with icons on the right or the left, and your safety alert seat will go on to let you know that, hey, somebody's likely approaching from this direction. Lane change alert. That's when your blind spot monitors, they are turned on right now. I really see no reason to turn them off. That will let you know when somebody is in your blind spot or rapidly approaching your blind spot. Comfort and convenience. This is your memory seating area. So if you like the idea of memory recall and you want your seat to go into your position every time you get in the car, you can turn that feature off. This is also where you'll access the easy exit feature. Chime volume, you can make it ridiculously loud. I've never met anybody who does. Power tailgate. So this is your hands-free liftgate. You've probably seen people kick the tailgate open and kick the tailgate closed. You can turn that feature off. Currently it's on for opening and closing, which is the way I have my vehicle set. Keep in mind you have to have a key within 1 meter of the back of the vehicle in order to use this feature. Reverse tilt mirror. We've got a couple of options. I'm going to turn on the passenger here just for a demonstration. If we look over at the passenger mirror, we put the vehicle in reverse, you're going to notice the mirror is going to tilt down. This is great for seeing the lines on the road if you're parallel parking, or maybe it's a little easier for you to back in your garage that way. One reason I prefer having the passenger one done and not the driver one is if you are parallel parking, by having the driver mirror stay in the proper position, you'll be able to see the traffic coming from behind you. So feel free to turn that feature on or off on either of the mirrors and put the vehicle back in park. Currently, I'll leave it on the passenger setting so you can experience that a little bit. Auto mirror folding, currently on, so that's your power folding mirrors on the outside. Wipe in reverse. If your front wipers are on and you go into reverse, it will let your rear wiper pass once so that your back window is clear when you go into reverse. Extended hill assist. I don't know if you've ever been on a pretty steep hill. You had your foot on the brake, you took your foot off the brake, and you started to roll backwards. This vehicle will leave the brake on a little bit until you get over to the gas. I haven't had anybody complain yet about the extended hold, but if you do want to move it to a standard hold, that can be done right here. So that's all of our comfort and convenience settings. Moving down to lighting, we've got our exit lighting. We can leave the vehicle on for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or 120 seconds. You can also have it turn off right away. Locator lights are when you unlock the vehicle, the outside lights turn on. Power door locks. The vehicle is set to prevent you from locking the keys in the vehicle. And so right now when you unlock the doors, we're going to unlock all the doors. When you put the vehicle into park, it will unlock all of the doors. If you only want the driver door, you can set it that way for security. If you prefer to keep all the doors locked when you turn off the car, you can also do that. Remote lock, unlock, start. This is where you're going to change some of those settings as far as your auto-cooled seats, how you want the vehicle to operate or unlock with the remote. The most popular settings people check is passive door unlock. So you saw me on the outside, I clicked the button, it unlocked the driver door. I double clicked the button, it did all the doors. If you prefer to skip that double click, you can go to have all doors unlock, and one button will unlock all the doors in the vehicle. Passive door lock is one of my favorite features. 10 seconds after you leave the vehicle, the car will lock automatically. If you have the chirp turned on, you'll have that quick chirp so you can know the vehicle's locked. If you have it on without the chirp, the vehicle will lock. You'll hear that little click if you're close enough, but you won't get the chirp. Personal preference, I'll leave it on. If you do want to change it, let me know, and we can get that changed together. And the last one is remote left in vehicle alert. If you leave the vehicle running and you take off with the keys, you're going to hear beep, beep, beep. Also, if you turn the vehicle off and you leave the keys inside when you leave, you'll hear beep, beep, beep. I like the feature because I always tend to leave my keys in the cup holder. However, I know a lot of couples travel together with both sets of keys, and if you get out of the car to fill up with gas, you're going to hear that beep, beep, beep. So it is on now, can be turned off if you don't want to attract as much attention as that little noise will attract. So we did the vehicle. Bluetooth. You can access your Bluetooth menu by using the phone up at the top. I call these speed buttons: music, phone, navigation, and text messages. Or you can do it through here. You can also delete devices. I'm going to do some right now. Delete. Delete. There we go. You can change the ringtones. Never actually done this before. So there are 2 ringtones you can choose from. There's one. There's the other. We'll leave it on that one for now. Or we can use your Bluetooth device ringtone. That means your phone will ring, and I think that sound comes through the radio. We'll leave it there, and you can let me know how it worked out for you. That's what it was on previously. Voicemail numbers, if you need to access your voicemail through the vehicle without typing in any other specific information, and then a few things there for text alerts. You can have that feature turned on and off. What am I missing here? It sounds like we've gone over a lot of things. So voice control, the vehicle does have voice control. If you hit this button on the steering wheel, tune FM 99.9.
Tune to 99.9 FM. Is that correct?
Yes.
Tuning.
So you can make phone calls, you can change your radio station, you can actually push and hold this button and it will access the Bluetooth voice controls on your phone. So if you have Siri or an iPhone, that's Siri. If you have an Android phone, you're probably using Google Voice. Push and hold and you can access the Google Assistant or Siri right from your vehicle without ever touching your phone. So the Google Assistant or Siri is one voice feature. That's push and hold. If you just want to get the voice feature of the car, you're going to push and release. Over here you can change for the vehicle. Do you want it to confirm more or confirm less? That just depends on how well the car is understanding you. You can make the prompt length shorter if you don't want to listen to the car as much as we are right now. And you can also speed up or slow down the playback speed, again, to either understand it better or to get it over with quicker. And we do have the tips turned on. So when we hit this button,
say a command or say help.
what can I say?
There is no Bluetooth phone connected. Connect a Bluetooth phone.
All right, I guess we need to connect the phone for that feature.
Session ended. Goodbye.
Oh, sorry. Everything was done. What can I say? On. There we go. So that's our voice menu. Display. This is if you want to turn the display off, say on a long trip, and you didn't want the display to be bright at nighttime. You can also recalibrate the screen if it's not functioning properly. Wi-Fi, the vehicle does have built-in Wi-Fi. It's a paid subscription, just as it would be with your cell phone. To get that activated, you just hit the blue OnStar button. You can ask them about the Wi-Fi packages and add a package to your plan. While we're up here, we do have reading lights on both the driver and passenger side. Interior lights, always on, always off. And then if this one is illuminated, that means when we open the door, the interior lights are going to stay off. With the light off, the interior lights will turn on when you open the door. Sunroof controls, you can tilt it open or you can slide it all the way back. And then we have our garage door opener if you want to program that at home. Simple way to program the garage door opener is to push and hold this button, or the button you want to program. Push and hold the button on your remote control. When that flash pattern changes, it is programmed. There may be one other step that you have to do, and that is hitting the Learn button on your garage door opener, the part that's on the roof, and then coming out and then push and hold the programmed button for 3 seconds and release, and continue to repeat that until your garage door moves. Once your garage door moves, it is programmed to your garage door. Sunglass holder up top, and of course our sunroof. We can close this up, and then the back one is open. So the back is a fixed glass. It does not open, but you do have the shade. The front one has the shade and the glass. Back to the radio. I think we've got everything about the radio, but you probably noticed a couple of buttons along the side here. We have our 4-way flashers, emergency lights, parking sensors. You can turn your parking sensors off. If you have a trailer hitch on the back, you may not want your parking sensors connected, so you can turn that off from there. This is a lane keep assist. You might have experienced that when you were driving on the highway. While you're driving, it's using a camera, which is located right up in here, reading the lines on the road. If you're getting too close to the lines on one side or another, the steering wheel will actually turn just a bit to keep you in between the lanes. If you didn't know it was there, it might catch you off guard a little bit, but once you know about it, I find the system works very, very well. On the other side, we have our traction control system. You're going to leave that on all the time. The only time you would ever turn that off is if you needed to rock back and forth to get out of a rut. Most of the time you'll be able to do that with your all-wheel drive and the traction control, but every once in a while you'll need to turn that off. Speaking of all-wheel drive, this is your all-wheel drive button. So the vehicle is primarily front-wheel drive, and you can also run it in all-wheel drive. On days like today, it's nice and sunny out. We can leave it in front-wheel drive and get the best fuel efficiency. If you're looking for the most security or inclement weather conditions, then you will want to activate your all-wheel drive. And then as we hit the mode button, this is your tow haul mode. If you're towing a trailer, tow haul mode will give you less wear and tear on your transmission, as well as better fuel economy and better shifting. You can try that out while driving it. You'll notice that with tow haul mode turned on, the RPMs will rev up a little bit higher, and the gears will shift or snap into place a lot quicker. So I'm sure I missed one or two things, but I know this will likely be helpful in allowing you to get comfortable with your new Enclave. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.